Welcome to Timeless Wisdom. Have you ever had that quiet moment when your body feels just a little off, not in a loud or obvious way, but like a soft whisper you can't quite decode? For many older adults, especially in the final years of life, the body begins to communicate in subtle, quiet patterns. These changes are easy to dismiss as just aging, but if you listen closely, they may be early warnings, whispers from the body that something deeper is beginning to shift. Today we're going to talk about 5 powerful signs that often appear in the last year of life. Signs most people miss, not because they're hidden, but because they're so gentle, so familiar, they blend into the background of everyday life. These are not just symptoms from a medical textbook. These are observations from nurses, hospice workers, doctors, and family members who have walked beside their loved ones and noticed what the body often knows before the mind is ready to understand. And no, these signs don't mean death is imminent. They aren't meant to cause fear. Instead, they offer a rare gift, awareness. And with awareness comes power. The power to reflect, reconnect, and live the time you have left with more clarity and intention. So whether you're caring for someone, reflecting on your own journey, or simply want to understand life more deeply, stay with me through the end of this video. These signs might shift the way you view aging, dying, and living. Sign number 1, an increasing sensitivity to temperature and physical touch. It may start with a sweater in the summer, a blanket during breakfast, a comment like, "It feels chilly in here," even when the room is perfectly warm. This isn't just about preferences. It's often the first visible clue that the body's internal systems are beginning to change. As we age, circulation slows. Blood doesn't flow to the hands, feet, and skin as efficiently. The body's ability to regulate internal temperature begins to falter. What used to feel neutral now feels freezing. What once was soothing now irritates the skin. Even gentle sensations like water in the shower or the breeze from an open window can suddenly feel sharp or overwhelming. It's not psychological, it's physical, it's real, but it also goes deeper. As someone nears the end of life, they may begin retreating from sensory input altogether. Lights feel too bright, sounds too loud. Even casual touch might feel intrusive or exhausting. Consider Paul, a retired veteran in his late 70s. He used to sit outside every morning with his coffee, even in the cold. But over time, his daughter noticed he no longer wanted to leave the house. Indoors, he layered himself in socks and gloves, even with the heater running. He complained that the couch fabric was too scratchy. A few months later, Paul was diagnosed with severe heart failure. In hindsight, his discomfort wasn't just aging, it was his body trying to communicate. So if you notice someone layering up more than usual, flinching from touch, or withdrawing from their surroundings, see it as a signal, not a complaint. Offer soft fabrics, keep room temperatures consistent, and most of all, offer presence without pressure. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is simply sit beside someone without words and help them feel safe in their body again. Sign 2, deep, unrelenting fatigue. That rest doesn't fix. We all get tired, but this is something different. This is the kind of exhaustion that seeps into your bones. It lingers after 10 hours of sleep. It doesn't lift with coffee, and it turns even simple tasks, like brushing your hair or making a sandwich, into a mountain too steep to climb. This is a fatigue that signals the body is no longer investing in activity. It's pulling its energy inward. It's shifting from doing to simply being. Linda, a 74-year-old woman known for her energy and love of church gatherings, began skipping her weekly choir practice. She stopped volunteering. She said, "I'm just a little tired." But that tiredness grew deeper. She slept more, spoke less, and struggled just to walk to the mailbox. Eventually, doctors diagnosed her with a chronic condition that had been progressing for months, unseen but not unspoken. Her body had been telling the truth long before the diagnosis did. This kind of exhaustion is not laziness. It's not even necessarily sadness. It's often the body preparing, quietly, for a final chapter. The body is wise. When energy is limited, it chooses carefully how it spends it. So when someone says they're tired again and again, believe them. Don't just offer rest. Offer compassion, offer time, and most of all, offer a slower pace that meets them where they are. If you're still watching, comment number 2 to let me know you're here. It helps me know this message is landing where it matters most. Sign 3, a quiet shift in voice and speech patterns. The voice is often a mirror of the soul, but it's also a mirror of the body. When someone who once spoke with clarity and strength begins to sound softer, slower, or less engaged, it may be more than age. It may be a whisper from the body that it's starting to wind down. Richard was once a principal, commanding, articulate, always leading conversations. But over time, his wife noticed his voice had changed. It grew raspy, then quiet, then nearly silent. It wasn't dementia. It wasn't sadness. It was simply fatigue. The muscles that help us speak, from the diaphragm to the vocal cords, weaken over time, just like any others. And when the body is conserving energy, speech becomes optional. The person may still have sharp thoughts, but they no longer have the stamina to express them the way they once did. Sometimes they trail off mid-sentence. Other times, they don't speak at all. It can be painful to witness, especially for loved ones who want to keep connecting. But here's what matters. Be patient with the silence. It doesn't mean there's nothing left to say. It means what's being said is now communicated through presence, not words. Sign number 4, irregular or labored breathing. Most of us don't notice our breath until it changes. In the final year of life, breathing patterns often shift, and those changes, though subtle at first, can carry profound meaning. It might begin with sighing more often or pausing between breaths. You might notice someone who once breathed easily now sounds slightly winded, even at rest. Some begin to wheeze. Others breathe more quickly, then slowly. And in the later stages, they may develop what's known as Cheney-Stokes respiration, a pattern of rapid breathing followed by deep pauses. To a family member, this can be frightening, but to the person themselves, it often goes unnoticed. It's not always painful. It's simply the body adjusting. Margaret, a 76-year-old grandmother, used to call her daughter every Sunday, but over time, those conversations grew shorter. "I just don't have the breath for it," she'd say. A few months later, she entered hospice. The breath had been telling her story all along. Breathing isn't just physical, it's emotional. People nearing the end often feel a sense of restlessness, anxiety, or unexplainable urgency. The breath mirrors that. It's as if the soul is preparing to move, and the body is trying to keep up. So when you notice changes in someone's breathing, slow down, soften the room, hold their hand, and just be there. That stillness can be more healing than any medicine. If this part resonates with you, comment number 4 below. Your feedback helps me keep making meaningful content like this. Sign number 5, letting go of routines, grooming, and daily tasks. This is one of the most misunderstood signs of all. When someone who used to wake up early, shower daily, change clothes, and tidy their home suddenly stops, it's easy to assume depression or laziness, but often it's something deeper. As the body prepares for the final stage of life, the external world begins to fade in importance. What once mattered, appearances, routines, even meals, starts to feel like noise, irrelevant, exhausting. Edna, 81, had always been elegant. Pearls for church, lipstick for lunch dates. But her daughter noticed changes. She wore the same robe for days. Meals were skipped. Her once spotless living room gathered dust. "I just don't feel like it anymore," she said with a soft smile. She wasn't sad. She wasn't broken. She was just slowing down. And her body knew before anyone else did. This withdrawal isn't failure. It's not neglect. It's the body shifting focus inward. It's the spirit preparing. It's the graceful surrender of someone who's choosing stillness over structure. So if someone close to you begins letting go of daily tasks, don't rush to fix them. Instead, join them. Brush their hair for them. Cook together. Sit in silence. Let connection replace productivity. And if this is you, if you're beginning to feel this shift, know that it's okay. You're not giving up. You're slowing down. And that too is sacred. The body whispers before it shouts. These signs, the chills, the fatigue, the fading voice, the breath, the release of routines, aren't random. They're not just about aging. They are the body's gentle signals, signs that it's shifting towards something quieter, something deeper. Recognizing them is not about fear, it's about presence, about living with more awareness, loving more intentionally, and letting go with more grace. You don't need to panic. You don't need to fix everything. Sometimes the most healing thing we can offer is simply to notice. If today's video touched your heart, share with us in the comments. What sign stood out to you most? And how will you respond differently from now on? If you found this content valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps us continue creating content that honors life and death with dignity, compassion, and truth. From all of us at Timeless Wisdom, thank you. We'll see you in the next video.